Hello, good evening. Welcome to PM Personality Profile. My guest tonight, a household name. He is a lawyer, a politician, former minister for Works and Housing, and member of parliament for Achim Ebuakwa South, Samuel Atta Akyea. He's my guest tonight. Happy to see you.
Same here.
How have you been?
Very strong.
Great. It would be good to start this interview by picking your thoughts on the committee that you chair. We know you're not done with your work yet, but where are we with the investigations?
Well, we're done with the investigations as, majority of the committee members wanted it. So what we're trying to do is to permit the clerks to come out with what we call the draft report, and the committee will look at the draft report. If there's a need to improve upon it, if there's a need to look at missing links, and if you look at evidential coherence, logical presentation, which will make it digestible for plenary, we'll do that, and that will be the end of the job. So now the ball is in the court of the clerks of the committee, and they hope to finish soon.
Recently, there was a draft report that you denied that it wasn't coming from the committee. You even promised that you were going to investigate it. What has become of it?
It was most unfortunate that the criminal investigation apparatus of the state will have to find out who has put together a 72-page report and attributing it to the committee, when the committee has never put together a 72-page report.
Do we know who is behind it? Well,
they need to fish the person out, because this is a forgery which is against a whole parliament. I don't know who wants to steal the show. It's so prejudicial that you attribute a forgery to a committee of parliament. It's a very, very, very banal and low-cost behavior, and then we need to look at it because it is distasteful.
So when exactly are you bringing your own report?
As I've told you, we're just waiting for the clerks to the committee to come out with what we call a very simple but comprehensive report, and then we as members of the committee will sit together and look at what the clerks presented, and then when it's fit for purpose, we'll sanction it, and then I sign, and then the clerk will also sign. What was put in the public domain is so fraudulent that there's no signature of the chairman, there's no signature of the clerk.
Okay.
So who is trying to pretend that the committee has come out with a report?
And the security agencies have assured you that they are doing that?
Well, I'm just waiting for the speaker to arrive, because you see, we pay regard to the speaker, and you shouldn't sit down there and think that by the fact that you are chairman of a committee, you do things without referable to the important person who's called Mr. Speaker. But I'm of the very humble view, that is a criminality that should not be ignored.
Let me ask you this. There's been claims that there's division in the committee. Members are divided on issues. What should we expect from you? A flawless report?
I don't think it will be a flawless report. There's no one yet. Even some people are bold to criticize the Bible. So how can we talk about a flawless report? But I can assure you that people can dissent on critical issues. The most important dimension to that is to capture the dissent. That to be a balanced, a reportage of what happened. That's all we have to do. You can't get everybody agreeing on a particular matter. And dissent is also good for rational engagements. So when people look at the reports, in relating to this matter, Atta Akyea dissented. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you have a kind of robotic kind of mindset, it will feed into the opinion or public perception that these people are so self-opinionated, they are not interested in facts, and we won't be anybody's conveyor belt, we think. So when the thinking is different, it's permitted.
So with the terms and terms of reference for your engagement, you were supposed to actually proffer some recommendations. Have you done that?
Well, it's all going to be what they will bring before us. I have strong recommendations, but you see, you don't foist your views on the committee, you have lawyers in there, you have senior police officers on the committee. You don't force your views on that. But what you think as a chairman is a strong point of view, you can urge it upon them. If we all agree and we converge on that point, fine. If they don't, I mean, you can state your position, and that will be part of the report.
You want to share with us some of the recommendations?
Oh, I think it will be too premature to write the report which the entire committee has not validated before you and put in the public domain.
All right.
It is not good.
We'll patiently wait till that report is out.
Certainly.
And that will definitely put the matter to rest.
It should.
But let's talk about you as a parliamentarian and the fact that you are exiting. Before we even talk about your exit, let's talk about what the motivation was. A fine lawyer who now wants to do politics. I thought it was enough to be a lawyer.
Well, you see, if you like, the instinct to serve is always there for people. Some people are very deep technocrats.
Okay.
Yeah, they are very brilliant. They've been signed on, they have a salary, and they have a family, and they are minding their own business. But when you have leadership spirit, you always want to put your talents, I mean, for the benefit of others. And I think that thing is inborn. You don't have to force about that thing out. It will be there. So here am I, a giant of a politician. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was a member of parliament of Abuakwa. At that time, it was both north and south.
Yeah.
And then he exited.
Okay.
Looking at the vacuum and having trained under him, and also being a leader of my people and my royal background, I felt that, look, it's very opportune that if Nana Akufo-Addo is exiting, some man of some little consequence should step into his shoes.
Okay.
So these were some of the factors that propelled me to get into the political activity, starting off as a member of parliament.
Okay, so 2009 till date, how has the journey been?
It's been very good to a reasonable extent, you know.
Okay.
I tell people that it's a difficult undertaking. You know, I don't see any politician who is sitting pretty. It's gotten to do with a leader or a king. The etymological meaning of a king, if you translate into Twi, people don't know it. Ohini. Ohini means Ohobaye Ohin. You'll be irritated.
Okay.
So in the realm called politics, you'll be very much irritated. But the true measure of a politician is your shock absorbers.
Okay.
How you see people and the way they treat you and all that. So it has a very, very, very positive side. But I'll never trade close to 60 years experience for anything. I've become a better person. I've come to understand the common humanity. I have come to understand the motivation of the poor. I've seen envy. I've seen, contempt. People holding in contempt for no reason. I've heard insults about me that I started wondering, do I deserve it? But my heart is satisfied that I've become a better person after the experience of becoming MP. I am of the humble view that an MP in our world is not what you do in plenary. That is the deliberative function of an MP, the thinking dimension in the House.
Chamber.
I believe if you have the scholarship, you'll be able to do it. That the MP job in this part of our world is your capacity to meet mass need. Okay. And that is very, very serious.
And you've met it over the 16 years?
Even Jesus said, the poor will always be with you. And nobody can say you'll be able to solve mass poverty.
Okay.
Yes. So if you are just a simple man, you know, and you are married to a woman, or maybe you are married to 2 women, and you have about 6 children, that's a small economy to run. What if the people in the background are numbering about, let's say, 30,000 people?
Okay.
With all diverse needs, and with a small purse called the common fund, you realize that if you don't have personal resourcefulness, you will not be able to really meet that kind of undertaking.
Well, would you blame them? You make those promises to them. You know that you don't
well,
have the
nobody will make a
resources.
promise that I'm here as a member of parliament, and when somebody is dead in the family, and I don't even know the one who is dead, I'll buy a coffin. It is an entitlement mentality that they have, that let's try and export all our needs on the poor MP.
Okay.
And the MP has very limited resources. If you care to know what happens to an MP when it's approaching weekend, the number of funerals in the constituency and the whole funeral donations you have to make, and if you know what they call harvest time, and the demands that pastors will place on you that, oh, this is harvest time, we need this. And somebody who is very ill or fatally ill, and all kinds of demands that if you have bowels of mercy, you can't ignore.
Okay.
That is the difficult aspect of becoming a parliamentarian, trying to solve mass needs. But as for the intellectual activity, if you have a teachable spirit, Aisha, you can write a statement for me to come and read on the House floor. I can even outsource what is serious to, excuse me to say, a serious consultant, and then I take the benefit.
Okay.
So the deliberative function is not as serious from my perspective. Of course, I was a lawyer before I entered, so there are a lot of reading I have to do. But I'm telling you that there is a dimension to the work of an MP that a lot of people take for granted. Mass poverty and how you address it.
Well, I also think that, I mean, putting together laws to manage the country is also a big deal.
Oh yes, it is indeed. We do not write it off. As a matter of fact, it's enshrined in the Constitution that the law-making arm of government is the legislature, which tells you that in the whole democratic architecture, you can't rule out Parliament. So that is brilliant. I will not write it off. For my part, I'm just measuring my mental capabilities at the House floor and my pocket as it extends to my constituency. So please, that's a dichotomy I'm trying to make.
Okay, and so from 2009 to till date, it's about like 16 years.
Close to 16 years.
And you want to hang your booth already? Why?
Well,
is it because of what happened in 2022 when your constituent said that you don't honor your promise or those things?
No, as for I don't know anybody who can say he'll be able to satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
You understand? That point should be made very clear. But when you've done this job for 16 years, and also you have an age which is also not too good for you. My youthful days, I was there. You know, this year I'll be 62 years old.
Okay.
Why don't I think about my legacy years?
Okay.
Where I will not be a member of Parliament, but I can put my services and my expertise behind the New Patriotic Party. You know, why is it that I will not invest time in ensuring that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia becomes the next president of the realm? Why is it that I don't write a seminar book for generations yet unborn to come and read? Why is it that I do not secure the future of my children? So there are other, if you like, I mean, undertakings that when you are approaching a certain age should engage you.
Okay.
So I think 16 years I've paid my dues, and the rest of the years I could handle some private matters and of course continue with the public engagements, but not necessarily in the role as a member of Parliament. Okay. Yes, at the moment I'm back to the court. If you care to know, I have a whole law firm to run also. Yes, I have a son who succeeded me as a lawyer. Okay. So 16 years, my dear lady, is a long time in politics.
It is
and if you care to know, 16 years, 8 of them I was in opposition.
Yes, of course. Yes, 2012.
Yes, 2009 plus 8 years. Yeah. I was in opposition, and then we won the power, and I came into power.
You came to power.
And then now we want to break the 8, which I'm very much interested in. That we break the 8, okay, and let Dr. Bawumia with a safe pair of hands begin to roll out what Akufo-Addo couldn't complete.
If you look through yourself for the past 16 years, are you satisfied, frankly, with your contribution to Parliament?
Well, I am. You see, because it was not intended that I'll be able to do everything. Yeah. I'll be initial. And that's what these new entrants should bear in mind. they don't know what they are signing on to.
Okay.
You see, they don't know what they are bargaining for. So, for instance, I've not seen any member of parliament who is saying that he's so deep in his pocket, he's asphalted all the roads in the constituency. People fail to see that the big undertakings for a constituency cannot be rolled out by a member of parliament. It's the central government that can decide that right now we need to put up a world-class, secondary school for the benefit of Atta Akyea State.
Okay.
How much money do you have as an individual to believe that, you have some resources to go and erect a brand new secondary school in Siakwa?
Okay.
What you can do, probably, I've given you chairs. When you are about to write your exams and they are talking about extra classes, I, as a member of parliament, I want to contribute the cost of the extra classes, which is probably in the neighborhood of about maybe, let's say, 12,000 Ghana cedis. You see, and when you are solving mass needs, people don't know. If you aggregate what you need to invest in the constituency, it's very big. So if you appease people from Bomponso and give them some help, you understand? The people in Abisim Yabua feel neglected. So, Aisha, to be very honest with you, we are misunderstood. This is the arm of government that they sack us a lot.
Okay.
I don't see anybody going to queue 4 a.m. In the house of the Chief Justice trying to say we are from Atta Akyea South and we have the view that if you didn't help in the payment of funeral debt, something will happen, or we need this and that. In fact, people are even afraid to sometimes go to Jubilee House. Now, when you're a member of parliament, excuse me, say you are the mother of the constituency, and they believe that you have a large breast, everybody should come and suck and go.
Okay.
It's a difficult challenge for us. Yeah.
Did you remember your biggest challenge as member of parliament in your 16 years of being a parliamentarian?
Well, a lot of undermining is going on, which is what will happen to a constituency that people believe that, let's see this man out or something like that. Ingratitude, you invested in somebody, you helped the person, and the person believes that, you should give your blood for him to drink. I've seen it. Ingratitude. When also those, if you like, who are dependents, will turn around and insult you as if you owe them. These are some of the irritations I spoke to you about. Apart from that, I've been enriched. See, if you want me to say it in Twi, Martin Nipase, which when I was a lawyer, I didn't see it that way. When I was a lawyer and people came to me, they came to pay me money. Now when I became a member of parliament, people came to me, I paid them money.
What irony.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed, yeah.
A lot of experienced hands are leaving parliament, yourself, the likes of Joe Gate, and
Chairman
Sabonso, Joe Wise, all of them are leaving. Does it bother you?
Well, to some reasonable extent, because you see, it takes some time for a man to stand strong as a parliamentarian. It's not, excuse me to say, use, even I, with my law background, I didn't become a strong parliamentarian overnight. But the bottom line is that, are you ready to learn?
Yeah.
That is the whole point of the matter. Nobody enters parliament with parliamentary experience. You come as a blank sheet. Are you ready to come and learn? If the individuals who would want to start off as parliamentarian will want to learn, they can learn very fast. Let me give you one example of a man who surprised me in parliament. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
Okay.
Abu Jinapo. Abu Jinapo has entered parliament as if he's a dinosaur.
Yep. Okay.
Strong, with his gravitas, able to stand and deliver. Why? He has a teachable spirit. If you have a teachable spirit, people will be shocked. He just entered parliament. Look at what he's doing under 1 year. And that is what I believe will happen.
Yeah.
And they have us to shepherd them. I am even of the view that the party should have a parliamentary school
Okay.
Now, say Chairman Sabonsu will meet the new entrants to shepherd them onto good works. People need shepherding. No matter how brilliant you are, somebody can add on to your understanding. You can fill me in terms of media engagement. That's not my forte.
Yep.
But if I have the kindergarten heart to learn from you, I will improve. So it is to some extent a liability, but it's not a zero liability. They can fit in there. Some have been retained. Some people are doing 2 terms, 3 terms. Boama is there, you know. Yep. My own Deputy Minister Eugene Entry is there. A lot of people are continuing.
Yep.
So we are not zero rated. But if you want the best, engage.
Do you foresee a gap in parliamentary work? I mean, you know, a lot of experience going out there.
There will be. Certainly there will be. That is why I'm saying that it's not going to be an instant replacement. It should be a continuous training so they fit in early.
Okay.
That is what I can foresee. But they will not be able to master the experience of Honorable Joe Gatti or Joe Wise or majority leader just by the fact that we're a member of parliament.
Yeah.
You need to really position yourself to know. Let me tell you something which became a bit embarrassing. I was always in parliament not because that is what should happen. I can upset myself for 15 days with reasons, and that is fair under the constitution. But when I look at the front bench and I look at the back bench, I felt that, look, how can I absent myself from parliament when all the good guys are not in the parliament? Half the time we're dwarfed by the numbers from the NDC side. And the young guys who are supposed to come in and see how somebody is moving a motion and see how they are doing the win-no-win, which is a very tedious, pedantic way of doing a bill which will graduate into law. Very clumsy kind of discourse and the rest of it. And you don't want to be part of it and know how to do proper winnowing, trying to understand how to look at the clauses of a bill, you know, and how they fit into the general legal framework. And then, I mean, I think you are joking. If you are not interested in those things, you are just joking.
They say it's the most difficult part of the job.
Yes, but that is why you should learn. You see, you are not just there and say, okay, I will not come to the house floor. I'm in my room in job 600, and I'll ever come to terms with lawmaking, the nitty-gritty of it. I'm afraid you would have shortchanged yourself. When I was a minister, it was you always find me coming to do part of the winnowing. And then, I mean, when I was HMS, was telling me that you have time for all this. What should I do? When it's 4 o'clock, I'll go to the ministry and do the paperwork.
Many have expressed disappointment, especially with the 8th Parliament, because, I mean, there was higher expectation for this particular Parliament because of how it turned out. What's your own assessment coming from there?
Well, the hung Parliament was very unfortunate. And the pain in my heart was, how could you have a man with a large heart and a man who has done something that President Nkrumah didn't do? That everybody who can go to secondary school should go for free. And his gratitude was this serious, if you like, electoral reward we got.
Maybe he didn't campaign well.
I don't know what it is to campaign well. And when you are the beneficiary of the largesse of such a huge policy, is that the way to vote? But that's what happened. But the hung Parliament, with the greatest of respect, was a difficult Parliament.
Yeah.
Which is to say that if you have an opposition that would want to, if you like, oppose for opposition's sake, and they cannot roll out credible alternatives, they will use the numbers to intimidate you all the time. You find situations in which we need to play some delay tactics to get ministers who are having conferences abroad representing Ghana to fly in to make up the numbers on very critical matters. So the hung Parliament, madam, we've never seen it before. It is so, but it's a very challenging situation, which I believe is not too good for governance.
Are you saying that because we've always had the opportunity where there's majority and minority, and sometimes government policies are just rubber stamped because there are many in parliament?
Well, that is not what it is, but it is a situation in which the opposition, acutely aware of the numbers game, will not even look at the policy. Look at it from that perspective. So you need to rubber stamp what's it called, the government policy, as it were, because you have the majority. It was not always the case. Because whatever the government was bringing will filter through the committees most of the time. And you have strong people, you know, some of them ranking deep thinkers who sometimes undermine the whole thing until sent back. So the proper deliberative function by the committees were working. But I'm saying that this hang parliament, what I saw with the greatest of respect, was a very mean posture that will use numbers to frustrate this government, whether or not the policy will benefit this good country of ours or not. For example, I do not see how people were making so much hula baloo about the budget and what we went through to have the budget passed. Well, guess what? If members of the parliament were not interested in the budget going through, do you know what we are saying? The financial system here, I mean, will be at a standstill. And even members of parliament will not be paid. The system will not run. But it became like, what was it called? Grandstanding.
I'm not sure they had a challenge with everything about the budget. They had specific issues that they wanted dealt with.
What specific issues were they? If it were just specific issues, we need to sit down and look at it. But they wanted to torpedo the entire budget. That's what it was. And for me, that was distasteful. And you should bear in mind that if you have a bankrupt system, what are you going to inherit? That's my major argument against those who are always, I mean, poo-pooing the economy. The bank is anemic, it's bankrupt. If you seriously believe that the economy is bankrupt, why are you in a mad rush to inherit bankruptcy? It doesn't accord with common sense.
If you had the opportunity to change anything, what would it be?
In terms of
parliamentary work?
what I want to really change or and say should happen is that we shouldn't have clerks who are not deeper than the chairman of the committee. You see, because the clerk essentially is a consultant from my perspective. So you need people who are deep to qualify as clerks. I'm of the humble view that the clerk of a committee should be more knowledgeable than the chairman and point out certain areas of concern. But if the clerks are just around to, if you like, say, write out, I mean, some people might want to say the normal way of writing, and we won't question issues deeply, then Parliament will be shortchanged.
Have you had a cause to complain about this in this Parliament?
Yes, of course, to complain about how some of the clerks will want to treat the committee, because I'm of the view that you should have professionalism, which entails acting in good time, and also letting everybody understand that you are not here occupying a desk, but you are here to really give an input to the committee. One of the things also that I wish it should change is that when the budget of the nation is approved, the approval is not equal to the releases of the money. They are not coterminous. So if we are an arm of government, and I'm speaking for Parliament as an institution, not because I'm an MPP man, then it shouldn't even be a case in which Parliament is cash-strapped. We approve the entire budget. So we should have safeguards that the releases of the money to us, so we become very functional, should not be at the pleasure or the behest of any person. We should have safeguards that Parliament should have a good quantum of the approved budget released, so that our programs will not stall and will not be shortchanged. Because Parliament is an arm of government, it's not an appendage of government. It's very, very critical for me.
Have you ever regretted being a parliamentarian? I mean, you talk about how people are ungrateful, how people will like just talk about you even if you haven't done anything, and all of that. Has there been a time where you were down and you ask yourself, why did I even get myself into this?
Well, I never got down about how people treated me. You understand? Because I always have a sense of life that we do good to God, not to people. Papa understand? So Aisha, if you show me kindness and I'm showing you ingratitude, yeah. So the fact that somebody is showing ingratitude should not cancel your innate goodness. Some of them will show you gratitude. Some of them will be happy that you showed up. That is fine. So if you got a few people saying that, oh, we thank God that Atta Akyea was a member of parliament for Abuakwa South. 2009 to date, he's met some of our needs. He couldn't meet all. He's done good to people. Nobody can point a finger at Atta Akyea and say he was a cruel member of parliament. He came here to say, dissipate our resources. He misappropriated the common fund or some other ugly painting of me. So as for regrets, I don't think I have any regrets become a member of parliament, but I could tell you to your face that I won't trade the 16 years experience as a member of parliament for anything. I've even become a better human being. Trying to see a devil from afar and witchcraft practice from afar. Eating jollof with your enemy. Can you imagine it?
Knowing very well he's your enemy.
No, can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? Can you imagine somebody took good money from your hand and insulted you to boot? So I believe I've built shock absorbers. I've come to understand common humanity. I've come to understand that you serve people not so that they will give you hallelujah chorus. You serve people by services to God. Those who are grateful to you, fine. If not, God is the final arbiter. He will settle the accounts in your favor.
In 2017, you became Minister of Works and Housing.
That is so.
How would you describe that chapter?
It was a paradigm shift for me, because here is a lawyer trying to go and do infrastructure rollout. Works and Housing essentially is infrastructure rollout. You want to do sea defense, you want to do drainage systems, you might even want to do the dams. You know, some of them it touches on the ministry. And for me, the ministry has a name, not only works but housing.
Okay.
Yes. So for me, my chief concern, having regard to the numbers they rolled before my face in terms of the housing deficit, I became very, very occupied with trying to get housing rollout to the benefit of the country and to the praise of the president. I couldn't get the opportunity, and that was very difficult for me. But I leave it to the president. Bear in mind, he has his priority so far as he's concerned, and you cannot undermine what the president is doing. If the president says that, look, now let's go into nuclear energy, and I don't believe in thermal energy, then you see that resources will move from thermal energy to nuclear energy. So shall it be. By the end of the day, we will do the analysis in terms of what gave the best benefit to the people.
Talking about the president, I know you're related to the president, and what's your working relationship with him?
I have a good working relationship with the president. One of the things that I do all the time is to tell him the truth. You see, I've told him severally that I owe you a duty of truth. And when it matters and he wants to assign me something, he wants my view on something, I state it forcefully what I think about the president. And I don't hold anything against him. You know, he's a man like me, and you might have challenges, as probably also having challenges. It's not easy to become a president of the nation. And so far, we are about to see coming to the close of his tenure and handing over. Yeah, but I think he's going through turbulence.
Yeah.
The president has really gone through turbulence. I tell people all the time that President Kwame Nkrumah, who inherited the largesse of the British government and could even give a loan to an African country, never experienced COVID.
Mm-hmm.
The war between Russia and Ukraine. This president has been bedeviled with two, if you like, external crisis. Some people call them force majeure. And we should close our eyes to the fact that the turbulence of President Akufo is unprecedented. But what has happened? He's able to give us a foundation for the children of tomorrow. Aisha, if you look at this free senior high school, it's never perfect. Foundation is solid if we give President Mahamudu Bawumia the opportunity to go along and if you like, shore it up. The next 20 years, Ghana will not regret for a very educated class. And that is, education is, if you like, a catalyst in development. Is there any president in this realm called Ghana who said, let every district has a hospital? So Nana Akufo-Addo has not underperformed as some people want to talk about. Probably he should have projected some of these things very, very strong. One day I told him, you need an infrastructure album. So people say that, oh, you've not added on to the road network in Ghana, which is not true. The evidence is showing that he's invested a lot of money in road infrastructure, more than any other government. So the ocular proof should be in an album for people to see that, oh, this is what the president has done. But I'm afraid we've not told our story so well, and people think that he's underperformed. I don't subscribe to the view that he's underperformed at all.
How did you take it when he relieved you of your post as minister and replaced you with another?
Well, I didn't have a choice, you know. He should have his best reasons why I don't fit the bill, why I should be replaced. But madam, you see, I saw that is not the end of the world, you know. And I can use my talents for other engagements as well. So why should I be so crestfallen? Yeah, there are other people who are even better than me. They never got any post. I was privileged by his grace. I became a minister for some time. If you think that the second term I should go, that is his decision, and I respect his decision.
Okay.
Yes, I can't say more than that.
Did he give you any reason for doing that? And as human as you are, you think, but he's my relative. Why should he do that?
Well, he didn't give me any reason, and I didn't ask for any reason. But if he believes that he will not be able to work with his relative, that is his decision. You understand? And excuse me to say, it will be an insult and contempt of him to quarrel with his judgment. That is his judgment. I believe that he's a well-meaning man. I believe that he should have good reasons why you act in this way or that way. So I can't question his discretion, but look at me, I'm here. And I'm soldiering on as a person. Yes, I paid due attention to Parliament. Yeah. I was a faithful chairman to the Mines and Energy Committee, hard-working chairman as that. Okay. And I was always on the House floor doing my job. So I was not wasted, and I'm glad for that.
I know that the housing deficit has reduced to 1.8 at least between 2010 and 2021. From 2.8, it's reduced to 1.8. But also, it doesn't erase the fact that there's still a number of challenges that we need to deal with to actually bridge the gap. Are you satisfied with your achievements as Minister of Works and Housing?
Well, given the resources that I had, I'll tell you something, Aisha. Sometimes people measure people wrongly. If you didn't want to give a coin or financial space to the roads minister, there will be no roads. It's as simple as that. If you said that, 40% of the revenue should go to NAPO's ministry, then you see free senior high school, on the top of the calendar. Oh, no, this is the best person. So if you want to measure me in terms of the resources that I had, I did some good work. What they wanted me to do, which I did so well, is the drainage system in the country. If you realize that during my time, I fought hard and did a lot of drainage works, and you could see that the flooding was at the barest minimum during my time. And that is what they wanted me to do. I did some, what's it called, sea defense projects, a couple of them. I never had the benefit of doing housing. So how can you assess me on housing? Atta, how many houses did you build? From which pocket was I going to build houses? So always, let's see that these ministers, as you see them, you have people who people point out as a very powerful minister. Go and check his budget. The budget is giving him the fuel to do some serious things. I do not know any underfunded ministry that became great. How is he going to do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you know why we are not really making it a priority? Because housing is a big deal.
Housing is a big deal. In fact, it's a catalyst for the development of any country.
True.
But I'm sure probably the power of the president was hijacked by Free Senior High School.
Okay.
Yeah, ab initio.
So that was your priority.
That was his priority. Okay. And probably other areas suffered. Understand? That is what it is. Look at railways, which some people also believe that when one of the fastest ways and safest ways of meeting the transportation in both cargo and human railways. It's hugely capital intensive, and therefore if you don't want to go in that area because of your fear of increasing the debt stock of the country, I mean, you will see results. So where it matters to you most, agriculture, planting for food and jobs, one district, one factory. So where he saw as his priority, he focused on. But it will be a poor judgment and measurement of anybody to say that those who didn't receive good money underperformed. Unfortunately, that kind of argument will be coming in the area of, if you like, pedestrian conversation. But in terms of cost analysis, it doesn't make sense.
Samuel Atta Akyea, he's my guest tonight. He's a former Minister for Works and Housing. He is the Member of Parliament for Akyem South. When I returned from the break, he was born in Chebi in the eastern region. He'll be telling us more about his growing up in that area. Again, the eastern region is one of the areas where galamsey is rife. In fact, the Birim River passes through his constituency. He'll be telling me more, and I'll be gauging his mood on what he thinks about our fight against galamsey. He would also be telling me about his family values and lifestyle. Stay with me. I'm coming right back. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest is Samuel Atta Akyea. He's a former Minister for Works and Housing. He's MP for Akyem South, and he's been telling me a lot about his work in that constituency and his job as a parliamentarian. I know you were born in Chebi.
Yes.
Right? Is that where you hail from?
That's where I hail from.
Okay.
In fact, it's the imperial city of Akyem. Akyem is the largest paramountcy in the eastern region of the Republic of Ghana. Okay. As a matter of fact, it's where the Ochenhene's capital is. The great palace called for Penifie is right in my backyard, and that's where I come from too. And
you are a royal
of that great house.
Both parents are from Chebi?
My father is from Agogo, Asante Akyem. It's my mother who comes from Chebi. Okay. And we are matrilineal. Okay. That's how come I'm a royal. Okay. In some other areas, it has to be patrilineal inheritance before you can be.
So but the cancer, they do
Fadie.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so it's my mother who matters for the Chebi people, not my father.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's where you grew up?
That's where I grew up. Okay. I attended school at Chebi Methodist, you know, and then I moved on to Ekropon Salem. Okay. That's what they used to call the middle school. Okay. And then I came to Adisada College. That's where I did my 7 years.
Coast.
No, in Cape Coast. Yep. A great school, you know. And then I moved on to Legon, and from Legon I came to the law school.
Okay.
And I've not studied seriously again.
So in Adisado College, were you able to speak some small fancy to save yourself?
No, I couldn't speak any serious fancy now. I kept because no. Meant to fancy be well, I'm very poor when it comes to other languages.
Okay.
Yes, and also like I'm married to a guy. There are a few guy phrases that means manaka. Oh yeah, fuck okay. I'm not losing in that at all. I'm not losing.
This is serious.
Yes.
Married to a guy, you can see.
I'm married to a guy.
That's
I'm married to a literate. my guy is challenging, you know.
Yeah, the literate family is a big deal in Accra. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Not sure they are happy with this. but you eat some gan kinky, right?
Oh, my wife does it herself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to brag about it. If you taste my wife's food, I told her one day that why don't you stop your work as a lawyer? I go and run a restaurant.
But she can do it alongside.
She's a very wonderful cook.
Oh,
yes.
All right, I'm sure that will compensate for the dialect that you cannot speak. How was growing up like in Chebi?
It was good, you know. Like I had a very powerful grandmother. May her soul rest in peace.
Okay, you were raised by your grandmother.
I was raised strongly by my grandmother because my mom was a bit aggressive and could use the hand a lot.
No nonsense.
Yeah, no nonsense woman. Very upfront.
Okay.
But my grandma was the one who I'll talk about as the principle-centered and the nurturing person.
Okay.
The one who will put values in you and let you see that the God of the Bible is strong.
Okay.
And that you should look at him and it's going to help you.
Okay.
It was my grandma who one day told me, Atta, or this year to say okay. The royal is like a white calico. Be very careful. You don't soil it with red oil. My grandmother told me that.
Okay.
Yes. My grandmother used to tell me that, oh, Atta, it's only God you should fear.
Okay.
But as for him, man, just respect him. But just don't fear a man, fear God. So my grandmother, if you like, inculcated in me such value system that helped me a lot. And the rest of it, my mom was very strong in terms of education. I'm a twin. My twin sister at Chebi Methodist School will be first, and at Akyea I'll be 13. And coming home, I'll be beating up how a woman should be first in the class, and at Akyea I'll be 13. No, the operators take education serious.
Yes, I
know, they are very serious about education. So if you met an operator who is not serious about education, then there's a deficit that he should go and fill up.
Yeah, breaking the rules.
Oh, my mom was very strict on education, and it's paid off.
Okay.
Yeah. Today, as I'm talking to you, my twin sister Atta has a daughter who is a medical doctor.
Okay. Is she also a lawyer?
My twin sister is not a lawyer. She went into accounts.
Okay.
Yes, and they are coming up. I have a nephew who is trying to become a lawyer. Even my son is a lawyer. My daughter intends to be a lawyer, you know.
Okay.
So we were brought up to see education as a very important dimension to our lives and development.
Okay.
And it's paid off.
All right. So what were some of the childhood expeditions that you were engaged in, the adventures?
Well, I'll talk about the Royal Mausoleum, you know, a very sacred place that the royals are interred.
Okay.
Very solemn place. So we don't know what happened, but there's a tree in the cemetery.
Yeah.
You see, and it had bats.
Okay.
Yeah, they have bats all the time on top of the place. I don't know how they came to be. So as young people, we might want to, go and catch some of the bats. And in those days, they've not used concrete blocks to do the fencing of the Royal Cemetery. How could you, for adventure's sake, go through maybe the royal place in the hope of getting, which is sacred. It was a very serious adventure. And then so there was a place where the river brim, the sacred river that they use in, if you like, sanctifying the black stools. You know, you go and swim, and one day I nearly got drowned.
Goodness.
Yeah. So
you knew it was sacred, but you wanted to go.
yes, we went there as boys. You see, and there's a particular place that Ochehin was stand and pour the libation. I remember him. I know Atta the second.
Yeah.
You see, but God has been good to me. I'm here talking to you.
So you went to the sacred cemetery as well?
Yes, I went there.
You went there alone or with your
I went there
friends?
with some of my friends.
Okay.
Yes, to see whether we will get some bats.
Did you get the bats?
You got about 2. Yes, but we were very young. And when you are young, your innocence will cause you to misbehave, you know.
Yes.
But when you're growing up there, you see that this is a sacred place. So
So nothing happened to you when
nothing
you
happened
went
to
there?
us at all.
And the elders didn't do anything to you, or they didn't know
They
that
didn't
you
know
ever
that.
went there?
They never knew that. It would have been a serious matter for us.
I'm sure the
Yeah.
gods forgave you for your innocence.
My innocence. and the passion of being young, you know, and adventure, and all the kind of things that are with being young.
Okay.
Yes, I also had the benefit of going to the storeroom itself.
Okay,
Yeah,
you did.
I was a very young man, and the keeper of the stool was a twin like me.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, this is where, I mean, the souls of your kings.
At what age?
I was a young man. I see, and it was not like a festive occasion, because the keeper of the stool house, Atta,
Okay.
yeah, it was a twin like me, took me there.
Okay.
I remember that. Very, very interesting experience.
Okay.
Yes.
So were there also moments that you, as a child, felt that you were troubled, or were there awkward moments?
Well, I was very traumatized when Nano Atta III died prematurely.
Why? You were quite
Because I was quite young, but I saw his developmental sense very early.
young. Okay.
And the decency he brought to bear, in his office as a chain, you know, he started off strong.
Okay.
And his love for the royals, who were beneficiaries of his lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, he was that, you know, a lawyer trained in the United Kingdom, and, you know, if you go to his library books, oh, it was bad. It was bad. I believe it is one of the darkest moments of Ochiman that such a powerful man should die prematurely.
Do you remember what you did at that point when you heard the news?
Oh, we were very down, especially my grandma, who was very much associated with the king. My mom, all of us were very sad that we lost such a great king who didn't even last for 3 years on the stool. It was painful.
And so from there you went to Adisador College. Let's
Yes.
speak more about Adisador College. How would you describe the environment?
Well,
It's a very big school.
it is a big school, and I'll tell you how I saw Adisador. It is the persona of the headmaster that determined the future of the pupils, if you like, the students. So we had a very strong headmaster,
Okay.
Mr. Raphael Haiti, the one who came. He succeeded Mr. Jonah, and Mr. Raphael Haiti was just strict disciplinarian. So it really helped us, because when you have a congregation of boys, the waywardness, the propensity to experiment in drugs, all kinds of bad behaviors are associated with young men with energies.
Yep.
But Mr. Rafael really was strong with us. But Adisador gave me one thing which I'll never lose: the can-do spirit.
Okay.
So when we have these interco and the colleges met in athletics, you see that we were not the very best, but we were among the best, you know. But you hear Adisador strong. We go put pepper in your eyes. We go show you. You go put. Oh, you see, that is enough to dwarf Infansipim.
Okay.
The power to create an intimidating atmosphere.
Infansipim.
I decided I had it plenty because I let Infansipim. They say they are the
only school in the city.
The city, and they are the gentlemen. I decided we were big
and they are the only school.
They are the only school.
Remember.
So that was a good experience for me, that you can dare to do anything.
Okay.
I think it's a spirit of Adisada which was very, very good. And even in life, you should be able to see that you can do a lot. The can-do spirit is good for your personal progress.
What kind of a student were you?
Well, I was not that aggressive individual, you know, but I've always been a man who is a bit vocal with what I believe in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to, when the school council meetings were, being held, I could say a few things about our problems, or when we met our house master and we're discussing things which affected our house. I was always a person that they used to call me pocket lawyer.
Okay.
Yes.
So even at secondary school.
At secondary school, I was.
They knew you were going to be a lawyer.
Yes, I remember the headmaster, Mr. Rafa Ayite, saying openly, Atta Akyea has a questioning mind. And I became the school council secretary.
Okay.
Yes, but I was never a prefect. But at the level that I got, I was a secretary to the school council.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided, it was very good for me. And it gave me, like I said earlier, my can-do spirit. And it's never left me.
Were you a bad boy?
You know, I would not say in school. Well, a couple of, if being a bad boy in those days was to go to a discotheque. Okay. There was a discotheque called the Big Apple discotheque.
Tell me about it.
A couple of times we left the school.
You sneaked.
We sneaked out and went to the discotheque.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
I see.
I was never caught. Yes.
Smart
but I
boy.
didn't experiment with.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
That you stayed
yes,
away.
and I was not the one who was running all the time to Wesley Girls High School to see whether my basket will gather water, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't into those activities.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them had friends before they came to the school, so they used to go to Wegehe and visit friends and those things. I didn't know anybody. I only had a sister.
Okay.
My terrier went to Wesley Girls High School. She's now a court of appeal judge, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you only went there to look
to
for
see
your
my
sister,
and then I'll come back.
and nothing much.
Nothing more.
And terrier didn't introduce any lady
no.
to you.
My good fortune is that when I came to Mensa Sabah Hall,
okay,
my terrier introduced the good friend, Philippina Lutrot.
From Wesley Girls.
From Wesley Girls.
Okay.
That if you want to marry a woman, marry this lady. And they clicked.
Okay.
So I married my sister's recommendation.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is indeed.
Wow.
It is indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you never got into any trouble in Adisada College?
I never got into any trouble. One trouble that I nearly got involved is when some people secured exam questions from maybe the secretary or those who type the exam papers. No. So knowing that I could solve some English problems, they brought it to me to look at it.
Okay.
So I gave the answers and all that. But later on, it was found that it was leaked. And then the one who got the leaked papers said, oh, even he couldn't, solve some of the problems, and I brought them to me to solve. So I was exonerated. But if it's in this corner and somebody has leaked papers and he brought it to me and said you should look at it. So I was not penalized, but he was punished. The gentleman was punished. The one who influenced a clerk or a secretary or whatever to get the exam papers ahead of time was punished by the school. That was the near tragedy I had, but I didn't get it.
God saved you.
God saved me from trouble.
But you also didn't escape from bullying, I'm sure.
Oh, very normal. Very much for bullying. They trying to terrorize you, taking a couple of milk tins from you, sardines, and trying to, take some of your shit, all kinds of things that you find in boarding school. Trying to, dress their best for them and the rest of it. It's normal.
Do you remember one that really hit you?
Oh, I think I was a bit surprised at a particular guy that my mom said, "Oh, look after this young man for me." My mom was very, very caring and wanted me to have the best in school.
Okay.
So, in order not to, waste my provisions, I surrendered everything to this senior. And madam, in no time, I wanted to go and have some of my provisions, and it's depleted everything.
Oh my goodness!
That was bad for me.
The one who was supposed to keep it safe for you.
Yes.
Goodness. So how did you survive for that particular term?
Well, I did my best, and also I sent message home that, look, unfortunately for me, you surrendered me to a thief. So you need to come to my aid. And my mom did her best, and my stock was replenished, and I moved on. But the good news is that in those days, the food in the schools were not that bad.
Okay.
So when they say today we are going to eat red, people will be jumping. You have a good bean stew. The ripe plantain is good.
Okay.
And the food was not as terrible as I hear now it happens. No? So you could also depend on the meals from the dining hall, and then you soldier on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then from Adisadel College to the University of Ghana.
Yes.
Where you landed yourself a wife.
Yeah, that's why I got a wife.
But I'm sure the experiences were different.
Oh, the experiences were different, you know. I didn't start the romance on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was bluffing me. and I left her, you know.
What do you expect?
So it was after I've left school, and the one that I went out with on campus also docked me.
Okay.
Then she rushed back.
How did she know that you were in dire need of her?
No, I was not in dire need of her, but she was always saying that, oh, why didn't I own up that love, you know, this African tricks.
Yeah.
That when a woman is in love, she has to drill you and show that she's not in love, that kind of thing. So
you didn't have time for
sometimes you can't read between the lines, you know. And I said, well, I came here to read law. And if I can't have romance, why don't I concentrate on the law?
Books.
So that's how it happened.
So when you were ditched, then she came in handy.
Yes, when I'd become a lawyer.
Okay.
And I used to see her also trying to go to State Hospital because she exited Legon with a second class upper in nursing.
Okay.
That course was there. It was later that we married, that for whatever reason, she said she wants to be a lawyer. She wants to move from nursing and become a lawyer.
Okay.
I said, well,
cool.
And she became. Because as a matter of fact, the senior sister, you see, was the Chief Justice.
Oh.
Yes. Mrs. Georgina Wood.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
I think she was looking at her sister.
Okay.
As a CJ and the rest of it.
Oh. So that's where she took the inspiration
from. She might have taken the inspiration from there. Okay. Look, let me become a lawyer. Yeah, so she's practicing with me.
Okay, that's nice. And so at the University of Ghana, you had your freedom. You could do everything.
Oh, too much freedom.
Nobody would ask you to go for preps and all of that.
It was a self-driven life, which makes it serious. You know, so you could even bring somebody from outside to come and perch with you.
Okay.
You know, some people were doing that. So you could get a stranger to come to where you are, and maybe the stranger in the morning will go and bath in the common bathroom and go to work. All kinds of things. and that freedom also meant that, oh, if your roommate is amenable, then some lady can come and sleep overnight.
Wow.
So that could be serious.
You had a lot of freedom.
A lot of freedom. A lot of freedom that if you couldn't manage it, you can be a bit wayward. Yeah.
So after law school, then you started with the Akufo-Addo chambers?
Oh, yes.
And then later to the...
I started off with the Attorney General's office.
as an attorney?
As an attorney, I started off there and did my service there. I worked with 2 DPPs.
Okay.
The late Sambadu, who became a Supreme Court judge, and then the other man, his name is just escaped me. A very, very strong DPP as well. Yes. And then I said, no, I don't want to be in a paid job.
Okay.
So right after my service with the Attorney General, I moved on to the prestigious Akufo-Addo Prempeh.
Okay.
Yeah, the head of chambers was the current president. That's where I started my practice from.
Okay.
Yes.
How was your journey as a young lawyer?
Oh, the power of the law firm was excellence.
Okay.
So one thing that defined the president in his career as a lawyer, and as I know it, was that he was a very excellent attorney.
Okay.
Great mind. Very excellent mind. Logical. Very lucid. President Akufo-Addo on his feet, was saying shivers down your spine.
Okay.
And his height was not equal to his heart. And, a man who is not too tall but has a big heart.
That's okay.
He goes to the Supreme Court and is using his left hand.
Oh, really?
No, he was audacious.
And he was not found for contempt?
Oh, he was not found for contempt at all. And as some people does, body language, some people do that. And the great Justice Akyea was presiding.
Okay.
And one day I'll tell you a story that I nearly fell down,
In court?
In Supreme Court.
What happened?
I think Justice Akyea was trying to interrupt Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, now the president of Ghana.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened. The president tripped, or it was intentional. I can't be sure. So Chief Justice Akyea, anytime I come to this Supreme Court, you try to disturb me.
Oh, really?
He said that.
And he was supposed to be his senior.
Oh, the Chief Justice and another, there's a world of difference. But I do know the difference between you and I, that you are sitting here and I'm standing here.
He said that?
Oh, he said that.
Wow,
No,
the judge will be shocked.
Oh, he was shocked beyond, measure. He didn't reply. And I was shocked too. I was shivering.
Yeah.
Hey,
They will throw us out of
audacity. Where is it coming from? That's President Akufo-Addo for you.
Wow.
Audacious. That, you can give it to him.
And the judge didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. He was not audaciously hollow.
Okay.
He was a lawyer of substance. If you prepared a brief for President Akufo-Addo,
Yep.
he has a deeper understanding than you're thinking.
Yep.
Yeah. So that kind of, if you like, posture of a lawyer rubbed off on everybody who served under him. I don't know of one person who came under President Akufo-Addo and as a lawyer, and he also didn't become sharp. A lot of people came from him.
Wow.
Akutam Pao, Philip Addison, Kwame Akufu, a host of people. Even the President Attorney General is from Akufo-Addo Prempeh. So that was a very powerful, if you like, lawyer's environment that I owe a lot to. The great Justice Yoni Kolendi, Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of them. Even the lecturer KK Ampofo. A lot of people have come through his hands. And that is a legacy that you cannot, devalue. It really brought out strong lawyers.
What would you describe as your biggest challenge in your law practice?
Well, my biggest challenge in my law practice was when I was just in the law firm and I got a call from former First Lady Nana Kunadu Rawlings that she wants to come and see me.
Yeah.
And then she came over and said, look, my husband is saying that you need to act for him.
Okay.
I said, me? MPP man? President Rawlings? What is it about?
Okay.
It was very interesting. And that time too, you know, the opposition leader was Nana Akufo-Addo. So I called him. Nanado, I mean, I'm hearing something which is frightening me that former President J.J. Rawlings wants me to work for him. I said, go and serve him.
Okay.
He said it on phone. Go and serve him. Okay. A former, leader of this country. Go and serve him. So I drove to his house, you know, that ridge area, the ridge junction. Then I saw that if he is not a president, he's such a nice man, very relaxed. We started a conversation. Okay. And it was a very interesting case for me because he said somebody's written a book about him, Professor Danso Boafo. Okay. And that there are aspects of the book that he doesn't want published. So I should take out a writ and couple it with an injunction to stop the outdooring of the book. Okay. I said, what? Guess what? Professor Danso Boafo is from Chibi. Okay. And what about this academic freedom? That if somebody has written a book about you and is distasteful to you, you want to block the entire book, why don't you also, write your mind, you know? So measured against academic freedom enshrined in the Constitution, I didn't have a case. Okay. So I told him I have to think about it. And when you are cornered, it's always sometimes very interesting that your ingenuity will rise, you know. And I saw that if I could say that President Rawlings, from the time he became the head of state to he converted into a president, was a working national security, and that he's of the view that the book will offend against our national security considerations, then this intellectual freedom will be checkmated. Yeah. So I read on national security. Okay. And how some cases in Europe were blocked on the grounds of national security. So I couched my writ around that, and I succeeded. Oh wow! So Professor Danso Boafo could not,
publish those portions.
Publish the book, the entire book. Oh. And we sat down, and we came to terms of settlement, and he was given the opportunity to, if you like, overhaul the book and take out what President Rawlings didn't like. And we agreed and we signed terms of settlement. And that ended. From then, we became very good friends. Oh. You know, and when you ask me, how much are you going to charge me? I said, how can I charge a head of state, a president? I didn't charge him anything. But I was shocked to my soul that when I was doing my primaries and I was in Chibi, he sent an emissary to me with an envelope and said, look, young man, you have my blessing. You're going to beat everybody. Oh, it was a very, very spiritual moment for me. That he sent me money when I least expected it. That's quite interesting. So that was a turning point in my career. That I need to, look, I put my political affiliation aside and go and serve President Rawlings. It also, if you like, raised my esteem. That is not this cantankerous, blind politician, you know, he cast across board. And it stood me in good stead. You need to be very objective to be able to do that. Oh yeah, you have to be very objective to do that. You see? And you need to also be very unbiased in terms of how, and your polar coloration, you know, how you see some politicians. You know, if you are an MPP, you see everything from MPP lenses. Myopia. If you are NDC, you see everything from NDC lenses. Myopia. You should be broad-minded. Well, we're hoping that one day we'll get there where our politics will get to that level too. We're sure. But let's talk about this monster, Galamsey. And in your area, it's rife. Your president put his own presidency on the line for this. Well, many think that the state has failed us. What's your assessment of our fight against Galamsey? I do not think he's failed in this undertaking again. It's a collective responsibility. You understand? What if President Akufo-Addo came out with a policy that shoot to kill? Yeah. That if you went to a Galamsey site, without more, kill people. Yeah. Yeah. The whole nation will hold him that this guy is doing extrajudicial killings.
Yeah.
What if there is a chief who is giving oxygen to the impunity of desecrating the river that, if you like, I mean services a whole community and beyond.
Yeah.
The river brim goes a long way. Some of them, the Tano River, the Pra River, to the extent that one of the days a minister told me that if you continue with this violence of our environment in the name of money, which we call galamsey, will be a net importer of treatable water.
Yeah.
I nearly collapsed.
That's true.
The minister told me this. So therefore, if everybody said, look, money is good, but not at the expense of our river bodies and the environment, and the chiefs were also strong on that, and they will not take monies under the table and later come and speak to Graphic as if, they hate what is going on,
yeah.
but they are in cahoots with those who are doing the galamsey. And some soldiers will also not be wayward, and some caterpillars that were seized will not be released. Probably we have won together. But to single out the president as the sole person responsible for this, if you like, elaborate arrangement to bring violence and mess up the environment to one person, I don't think it's very kind. But are we careful that our waters are clean? The chiefs are to blame as well. The police too may be involved in trying to give cover to a Chinese man to do the galamsey. Yes. So it's an interplay of factors. And we should look at it again.
Are you taking out the politicians?
You can't take out the politicians. If you have a politician who believes that it is a galamsey man who should, give him money every weekend so that he would energize his constituency, he's to blame. He's to blame. I would take them out. So let's look at the whole thing in a very, global manner, in a very comprehensive manner. And we come to realize that he had the best of intentions, but the frustrations are many, and he couldn't sort of control all the variables.
So Atta Akyea is hanging his boots. What next for Atta Akyea?
Well, my major preoccupation now, from now till we vote, is to invest my time and energy, and when I have good money, in the campaign of the vice president.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe that the vice president represents the best man ever to help this country. I'll just give you one reason. If you pay regard to the profile of presidents of this great nation, you'll be the first economist. Now, everybody's talking about economy. The economy should be revamped. The economy should be the best ever. So I pose this question to people. When you have a toothache, do you give it to a carpenter or give it to a dentist? So now he has the unfettered hand. He's not going to be at the advisory role as head of the economic management team. You put his hands on, the steer concerning the economy.
But people think that there's been mismanagement of the economy, and as they're calling for the head of the finance minister, they're calling for the head of Dr. Bawumia too, because you can't ask Ofori-Atta to resign and leave Dr. Bawumia because he's the chairman. It's Ofori-Atta's boss.
I've said it, and I want to repeat it, that those who are calling, what's it called,
Ken Ofori-Atta
to resign should leave it with him. And it's been put in some light. It's up to them. But let me tell you something. When you present the budget to a parliament, the budget is presented in terms of the constitution by the finance minister on the authority of the president. So that's the president's budget. You see, Dr. Bawumia's role has been misunderstood.
Okay.
He proffers views and opinions that might not be binding on the president. So I'll keep telling people that the most cruel blame game you want to practice is to hang around the neck the economic challenges of this country of Dr. Bawumia. It is uncharitable. You understand? Do you think he's the one running the economy? It's sad. People don't see that. He could chip in his views. The president would then look at his views and together with his lieutenant, the finance minister, will make their own decisions. We are never privy to what the vice president said in relation to his view about making the economy tick. That probably was rebuffed. We will never know these things. But he is not responsible for the running of the economy.
But he takes credit where, there is credit.
Well, his initiatives that have been permitted to roll out, what should he say? So, for example, if we say, let's go digital, and the president saw eye to eye with him, that's it. Do you know what else that he had under his sleeve that has never been implemented? So I believe that you should give him the opportunity to come and take off from where, because of time consideration and resources and all the interplay of factors, you should come and continue. And let's see. I always tell people that in this realm called Ghana, who has more shock absorbers than the vice president? If you should work with a man for 16 years, 8 years in opposition and now, and you think President Akufo-Addo is a perfect man, he's not. He has his foibles. And we have a world-class gentleman that we never had a fight between him and President Akufo-Addo, not because there was no one, but he was a world-class gentleman. You heard about President Rawlings and Atta Akyea, that they nearly fought physically. You want this world-class gentleman, brilliant economist, to be packed off? For what alternative? So I'm going to invest in that enterprise so that we see Ghana having a great individual breaking the 8 so that he'll be able to take us to where we should be.
Talking about Dr. Bawumia, a lot of names have come up as to who fits to be his running mate. I've heard about Matthew Pokuprempe, I've heard about Joe Wise, I've heard about the Oseche Mensah Bonsu, Joe Gatti. A host of names coming up. Who do you think is best fits for this position?
Well, I think we are being too aggressive on the matter. He's barely settled down as a flag bearer. You see the point?
Yep.
So now we need to cost it. You see? And he might have his hard decision that he'll present to it. We have to look at it. But to be stampeding this man who is barely settled as a flag bearer for that position, let's take it easy. I credit him with a large mind, colossal mind. You will know who will fit the bill to give us the victory come 7th December this year.
But with the vast experience that you have as a politician, you should be able to point one or two who can best do the job because you know your agenda as a party.
I think it's too early for me to disturb him with that activity. But right now, we're looking at how to put our best foot forward, the kind of things to really show that the continuity will bring enormous benefit to Ghana, that some people, because of lack of ideas, will not reverse free senior high school, that he's the best person to roll out the economy because that is his forte and expertise. You understand? We need to, what kind of campaign strategy are we going to use? What should go into our manifesto? Probably what is the budget line that we believe we can use to break the 8? I believe these are consequential matters that, in-house is being treated. Let's give him a little space. Certainly there'll be a vice presidential candidate, but he should not be stampeded. That's my view.
In the event that Dr. Bawumia wins in, this year's election, would you take up any role if you were given?
Well, I'll take up any role that I'm given, and I'll do it faithfully, for the simple reason that I do not see how you will take up a position and are not faithful to the president. You should give off your best. And you should be truthful to the president. It helps that the president will listen to truth only, not a hype or trying to endear yourself to him or being sycophantic, that kind of thing. So if he should ever find any space in his heart that Atta, can you play this role for me? Not necessarily ministerial, I'll play it. Why not? It takes a cocky man not to serve.
Well, we wish you very well in your next chapter. And of course, we are grateful for your service to Ghana. And definitely you've had some awards. I think that you were awarded for preserving the virtues of integrity, honesty, accountability at the West African Nobles Conference. Must be fulfilling to know that at least someone is recognizing what you're doing.
It's very good that you'll be recognized. And it shouldn't be like you want to prop up your reputation. But in the final analysis, a lot of things people will not see, but you are doing the final analysis with God, who Almighty, who will say that, look, you are a good and faithful army servant. So I acknowledge the fact that they recognize me, but it's not the ultimate.
Your wife, Mrs. Atta Akyea, and their children, I'm sure they're very proud of you as a father. Have they ever had cause to complain about your political activities? That, Daddy, please stop this job so that people will stop saying things about you?
Yes, they are concerned when I have public engagements. They believe that maybe I'll throw a bomb. But I never throw bombs, you know. I try to present a very civil, if you like, argument. And sometimes they are concerned about that. It's misplaced. It's overprotection, which is not needful. I'm not a little boy to now misbehave in the presence of the cameras, and you know, there's a video that I did recently, and all kinds of things are coming up. I tell everybody, go and listen to the video.
Okay.
I never insulted anybody. They asked me a very simple question. I gave what I suppose was the best answer, and that's all. There's nobody in the realm whose downfall should be my credit. That's my political mantra. I don't have envy, attitude, and should I go after this man? Should I go after this man? Should I even get the press to vilify the man so he looks bad and I look good? The kind of witchcraft of politics that I hate. So that is how sad they are concerned. But I'm not acerbic, and I'm not also wayward in the way I come across.
Well, what's your relationship with your children and your wife?
Oh, I have a very good relationship with my wife. Sometimes I think she becomes like virtually wants to mother me and micromanage me, and sometimes I resent it. I say, why? Yeah, what is this? Yeah, why do you think I shouldn't have my freedom? as for the two gentlemen I have, I'm so blessed to have a son who is a lawyer like me, and we practice together.
Wow.
Guess what? He had a foreign education. He became a barrister in the UK, and he's a barrister here. Okay. And he corrects my grammar. Okay. Oh, my middle-born son is something else. Okay. Great guy. But I don't want to say it, but my girlfriend is my daughter.
Oh,
she's a lovely. Oh, she's so lovely.
Fathers and their daughters.
Oh, I love my daughter, you know, and she loves that I love her. Yeah. Wow,
we're so happy for you. I mean, you've paid your dues, and all of us learn a thing or two from you, so we can also better our lives. I see that you are a strong man. You just told me that you're 62.
That is so.
And you're still fit.
I'm going to be 62 in August.
What do you do to keep fit?
Madam, I detox, especially mentally. You see, don't reduce your brain into a rubbish heap where every nonsense is weighing you down. You know, you carry funny burdens. This person didn't greet me well. It makes you sad. A gossip about you has made you crestfallen. You know, a lot of people carry unnecessary burdens.
Yeah.
Yes. And I respect the God of the Bible, you know. The God of the Bible has really, really, really helped me. I find a lot of sanity when I read the Bible. That God is stronger than a man. So what can a man do to me? These are things that I believe when you get into your DNA, it brings you harmony and peace. If God is for you, madam, who can be against you? The people might be against you. You see, they will be, but can they determine your destiny?
They are not God.
Yeah, they are not God. So these are some of the issues that have really dominated me, and I relax in God, and that's sufficient.
And do you do some like physical activities?
From time to time, I'm not very faithful with the exercise, but from time to time I get on the treadmill.
Okay.
Yeah, because of how I've been warned that as a politician, don't be walking too much around by yourself.
Yeah.
So I have a treadmill. I have one in the office and one in the house.
Okay.
But I'm not faithful. I'm not consistent.
You will get there.
Yeah, but from time to time, I'm on the treadmill and then. Yeah.
So after a hard day's work, after running around doing all the politics, constituency work, chamber, crossing the T's, the I's and all of that, what do you do to relax?
Well, I've become a condemned student of life, you know. So what relaxes me the most is when I'm reading.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm not a kindergarten boy. I'm now beginning to read several books and appreciate what is going on, you know. So my relaxation is reading.
Okay.
Especially when I'm reading the Bible. It gives me a lot of rest. From time to time, I listen to strong gospel music, and it's also very, 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 very good for relaxation.
Okay.
And then when I'm having a good conversation with my wife, a good conversation,
okay,
not altercation, but my wife is very relaxing, and sometimes I tease her, and she also tease me, and it's part of it.
That tells me you're a romantic husband.
I try to be. She will give the marks, you know.
Okay.
And then also when you show kindness to people, it's all right. When you see that somebody is resting because of you, then I get baffled.
Okay.
That you paid my school fees, you know. I said, me? I don't even know, and that kind of thing. So it also gives me a lot of relaxation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you listen to music that also relaxes you?
Oh yes, I listen to music. I listen to gospel music, and sometimes too I have some classical jazz music I listen to.
Okay.
And it gives me a lot of relaxation.
What's your favorite gospel music?
Oh, there are several, you know, but one is very, very, very dear to my heart. It talks about the fact that you have God, and that settles every controversy.
Okay.
Me wo nyame, and it's not a boy. Oyo tumfu ngwangweni, and it doesn't lie. Oya no kre nyame, otinisa, omakundi enyinamu. He raises his hand in my battles. Omatam fuso, okami hunti, min suro bibi, onyame tumfu, yeyi waye dada. Okay. What a bulletproof I'm wearing.
That's quite a strong bulletproof.
It is very, very strong. If the lyrics should percolate, oh boy, you realize that it's comprehensive insurance.
Samuel Atta Akyea, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great talking to you, and I want to say thank you so much for the good work you've done for Mother Ghana. Keep up the good work. I mean, as you exit, there are other positions you can occupy to still serve your country. We're grateful that you did all of that for us. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. Same time next week, we'll be bringing you another exciting edition of PM Personality Profile. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our program.